Emma Carter was always the last one to leave the office. That's what people said about her: dedicated, focused, to hardworking for her age. At 26, she had already climbed faster than others in her marketing firm in downtown Chicago. Tonight was no different. Everyone had left. The cleaning staff had finished their shift. Even the security guard had taken his break. But Emma was still at her desk, headphones around her neck, finishing the biggest pitch of her career, a pitch she had to present tomorrow to the new VP, Ethan Ward. Ethan Ward, the man whose name everyone whispered about. Brilliant, strict, impossible to impress, and insanely good-looking, according to the girls in HR. Emma didn't care about any of that. At least, that's what she told herself. She saved her file, stretched her arms, and finally stood up to leave. The office was silent, too silent. As she walked toward the elevator, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. You shouldn't be alone in the office this late, Emma. Her breath hitched. She quickly replied, "Who is this?" No response. The hairs on the back of her neck stood up. She pressed the elevator button. The doors slid open, empty. She stepped in, tapping her foot nervously. But halfway down, the elevator jerked violently and stopped. The lights dimmed. Emma froze. "Hello," she shouted. "Is anyone there?" Static buzzed through the elevator speakers. Then a voice came on mail.com. Controlled. Emma, her chest tightened. She knew that voice. "Mr. Ward." "Yes? Are you in the east elevator?" "Yes." It stopped. "I don't know why. I'm on my way to the control room." "Stay on the line." But before she could answer, someone else's voice came through the speaker, distorted, mechanical, unrecognizable. She shouldn't have stayed tonight. Emma felt her blood run cold. "Who is that?" Ethan's voice snapped. Static, silence. Then the lights completely shut off. Total darkness. Emma pressed herself against the elevator wall, heart racing. "Mr. Ward," she whispered. "I'm here," he answered through the speaker, his voice lower, sharper. "Emma, listen to me. Someone manually disabled the elevator. This isn't an accident." Her throat tightened. "Why would someone do that?" He hesitated. "Because your name was on tomorrow's presentation. You're the only one challenging a department that's been running unchecked for years." Emma swallowed. "You think someone wants me out? I think someone wants you scared." Then, softer, "But they won't touch you, Emma, not while I'm here." Her breath trembled, not just from fear. Something about Ethan's voice felt grounding. Safe. A sudden loud clang hit the top of the elevator. Emma jumped. "What was that?" she whispered. Ethan's tone shifted, protective, urgent. "Someone's on top of the elevator." Emma, move to the corner. Now she obeyed instantly. Another clang. Then a slow scraping sound. Emma's heart thudded painfully. "Ethan." "Emma," he said sharply. "I promise you, I will get you out. Just stay low." The elevator shook again. Dust fell from the ceiling. Someone was definitely up there. Then, suddenly, a bright floodlight blinded her. The ceiling hatch slid open, and Ethan's face appeared above her, breathing hard, flashlight in his hand. "Emma, give me your hand." She rushed toward him without thinking, grabbing his arm. He pulled her up with surprising strength until she was sitting beside him on the roof of the elevator. Emma couldn't speak. She was shaking. Ethan removed his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You're okay now," he murmured. "I've got you." She looked up at him, dark hair falling slightly over his forehead, jaw clenched in tension, eyes softer than she had ever seen them in the office. "Why? Why did you come?" she whispered. He stared at her for a moment. "Because when I heard your voice in that elevator," his voice dropped. Nothing else mattered. Emma felt something inside her break open, something warm, dangerous, impossible to ignore. Ethan helped her climb onto the maintenance platform. Security arrived moments later, after alarms triggered. As they walked toward the exit, Ethan stayed close, almost protectively. Before she got into her car, he stopped her. "Emma," she turned. His eyes held hers, intense, unfiltered, honest. "This isn't over," he said. "Someone went after you, and I'm not letting them get away with it." Emma felt a shiver, not of fear, but of something deeper. "Why do you care so much?" she whispered. He stepped just a little closer. "Because," he said softly, "I don't want to lose the one person in this company who makes me feel something." Emma's breath caught. He brushed a strand of hair behind her ear, gentle, warm, and completely unexpected. "Get home safe," he whispered. She nodded, heart pounding. As she drove away, she knew one thing. This night wasn't an ending. It was the start of something she wasn't ready for, but something she couldn't walk away from. The next morning, Emma arrived at the office, still feeling the echoes of last night's chaos. The city streets were alive, oblivious to the terror she had faced. While her heart still raced from being so close to danger and so close to Ethan, she kept telling herself, "Focus, work first, survive last night first." But as she walked toward her desk, she noticed something strange. Her computer was on, and an email she didn't recognize glowed on the screen. Subject: "You're next if you don't stop." Body: "Check the shared drive. Look carefully. Not everyone in this office is who they seem." Emma froze. Her pulse doubled. Was this connected to the elevator incident? And more importantly, who sent it? Before she could think too much, Ethan appeared at her desk. You got it too? He asked, voice low. She nodded, swallowing hard. Yes, but I don't know what to do. Ethan leaned closer, glancing around to make sure no one was nearby. We're going to figure this out. Together, Emma's stomach tightened. Together, she wanted to say something, anything. But the words died in her throat. Meet me in the conference room in 30 minutes, Ethan whispered, then walked away, his presence leaving a strange warmth in her chest. 30 minutes later, Emma slipped into the conference room, laptop in hand. Ethan was already there, examining the shared drive. This is weird, he muttered. Someone's been deleting files, but also leaving hints. Like they want us to find something. Emma scrolled through the files. One folder caught her eye. Project Orion, restricted. I've never seen this before, she said. Ethan glanced at her. Neither have I, but I think whoever sent the email wants us to uncover it, and fast. They opened the folder together. Inside were spreadsheets, emails, and contracts, things that seemed normal, until they noticed a pattern. Some projects were fake, dead-end deals. But the money was real. Someone had been siphoning funds for years, hiding it behind layers of legitimate projects. Emma's eyes widened. This could ruin the whole department. And the company. Ethan nodded grimly. Which is why the person in the elevator last night wanted to scare you. They know you're sharp. They know you'll uncover it. Emma felt a shiver, half fear, half adrenaline. She looked up at him. Why are you helping me? She asked softly. Ethan's eyes softened, and he leaned against the table. Because I trust you, and because I can't stand the thought of something happening to you. Emma's heart raced. Not from the danger, from him. Before they could plan their next move, the lights flickered. Both of them froze. Then, a shadow appeared outside the conference room window. Emma's breath caught. Someone's watching us. Ethan's jaw tightened. I know. We have to be careful. Whoever this is. They're dangerous. He grabbed her hand, quick, protective, grounding. Emma, I need you to stay close. No more solo nights at the office. Her chest tightened, and she nodded. The warmth of his hand lingered. Safe, dangerous, impossible. Ethan pulled her toward the side door of the conference room. We'll take the emergency stairwell. I don't want them knowing we're onto them. They slipped out. Heartbeats synchronized, shadows moving around them as they navigated the back corridors. Emma whispered, Do you think it's someone high up? Ethan shook his head. Not sure yet, but whoever it is, they're smart, patient, and they underestimate you. They reached the stairwell and paused, catching their breath. Ethan looked at her, eyes dark, intense. Emma, he murmured, last night, today. I know it's scary, but you're not alone. I won't let anything happen to you. Not now, not ever. Emma's heart hammered in her chest. Something inside her broke, and a warmth spread that had nothing to do with fear. She could barely whisper, Thank you, Ethan. His fingers brushed hers for a fleeting second, and the contact lingered longer than it should have, sending sparks she couldn't ignore. Let's get to work, he said, voice steady but low, dangerous in its calmness. We have a thief to catch. And as they descended the stairwell, moving through the shadows of the office that now felt like a battlefield, Emma realized that last night wasn't the only secret hiding in the elevator. Somewhere inside, she knew that the real danger and the real thrill had just begun. Emma didn't sleep that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard the elevator clanging, the distorted voice, the shadow outside the conference room. By morning, she was running on coffee and adrenaline. When she reached the office, Ethan was already there, leaning against her desk, arms folded, eyes scanning the room like he was guarding an invisible line. Only he understood. You okay? He asked softly. Emma nodded. I'm fine, just tired. He looked at her a little longer than necessary. You don't look fine. Her cheeks warmed. I'm here. That's enough. Ethan exhaled through his nose, a quiet, frustrated sound. I should have stayed until you left last night. Emma blinked. It's not your job to babysit me. No, he said, stepping closer, voice low. It's not my job. That's the problem. Before she could answer, someone approached. Dylan, a senior analyst, cheerful, loud, always too friendly. Morning, Emma, he said with an easy smile. You left early yesterday. Everything okay? Emma froze. She hadn't left early. Everyone knew she was the last one in the office every night. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Emma forced a smile. Yeah, just had a long day. Dylan nodded and walked off. But when his eyes met Emma's, something felt off, a flicker, a glance that lingered, almost like he knew something she didn't. When he was gone, Ethan leaned down and whispered, Do you trust him? No, Emma whispered back instantly. The way Dylan looked at her this morning, it didn't feel like coworker concern. It felt like surveillance. Good, Ethan murmured. Don't trust anyone. If you want part 2, say, next part.